Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and go over some newly released documents on the AJ Freund case. Warning, documents contain graphic and disturbing details. Okay, here are the documents. I'm going to go over them with you guys. I will probably skip the first part here. It's just your basic wording of what a warrant court document looks like and what it's supposed to say in it and things like that. But I'm going to also post the documents completely separate from this video so that anybody can use them, have them, what may have you. If you're not able to get them because you need them or want them and you can't screen record, you can email me and I will happily send them to you. Sharing is caring. Anyways, let's get a move on it. Okay, here's the affidavit. And it's blurry. It's hard to see. It is what it is, right? Again, I don't want to read it all, but I do want to go over the next several pages and read some of it because it's disturbing. It just says here, now before me, the undersigned authority personally came and appeared. Detective Edwin Maladano of McHenry County Sheriff's Department, known to me to be the person who named is subscribed to the foregoing instrument, who after being first duty sworn did depose upon oath, states as follows. Just kind of goes over every training course, everything he has had to do for his title as the detective, or a detective, I should say. Okay, here it's still going on with his training and his credentials. And number 2 says, through information I obtained from the Crystal Lake Police Department, agent from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and through my own involvement in this investigation and other members of the police departments, I have learned the following information. He goes on to say, on 4/18, 900 hours, which would be in the morning, because that's military time. Some may know, some may not. Anyways, the Crystal Lake Police were dispatched to 94 Dole Avenue, reference a missing 5-year-old child who was identified as Andrew T. Freund. Gives his private information. I might block that out. Well, no, it's public. So, while en route, Crystal Lake patrol units were informed by dispatch Andrew Freund was last seen approximately 9 p.m. on 4/17 by his parents, Andrew Freund, Joanne Cunningham. It was learned the child was seen by his parents, Andrew Freund and Joanne Cunningham, when they put him to bed 4/17 and discovered him missing 4/18 at approximately 8:15 a.m. Upon police arrival at the home, the residents granted officers access to the house to check for the missing child. Through the officers' checking of the house, they did not locate any signs of forced entry or signs that child left the house on his own. However, the parents of the child could not recall if they locked the doors to the house. While checking the residence, the interior was found to be in a hoarder-like condition, and particularly the basement area, where there were numerous full garbage bags stacked upon each other. Several of the garbage bags were checked and wet refuse was located inside of them. Along the garbage bags, there were numerous other household debris piled up throughout the entire house. The exterior of the house had numerous bags and other items stacked up against the rear of the detached garage. The interior of the garage was for one car space and was completely filled with piles of refuse and other items stacked from the garage floor to the ceiling. Here are some pictures. Okay, here's some of the trash that the officer is referring to that he saw. This isn't the basement, but this is like stairs down to the basement from the outside of the house. So yeah, pretty disgusting. Here's the outside trash as well. I don't know. Pretty filthy. Here is, I want to say, the living room. But then again, is it a dining room or a bedroom? Because is this a headboard? I don't know. Pretty deplorable. Not safe at all for children. A disturbing picture here. I'm not for sure if it's a blood stain or if it's just a stain on the wood floor. But yeah, the officer obviously found a reason to take the picture. Again, not sure what room this is. I thought at first the living room because there was a couch in here, but then there's a closet over here. So I'm not 100% sure what room this would be. But these are deplorable conditions, guys. Most definitely. Now, you had your kids had friends over and they stayed the night and the room ended up looking like this with all the sheets and stuff everywhere. And that's something you can easily pick up. But then you've got this hanging here. That's not safe. I don't know. That's just not pretty to me. I don't know what would be in here. But see, at first I thought this was all together, but no, there's the floor. So there's that little walking space there. Maybe a little bit there. Hop over here. It's just not safe at all. And that might be a crib. I don't know. All right, looks like we finally found the living room because of the fireplace, the TV. I mean, if there's any room that looks, I guess, okay, it would be this one. It's still definitely messy. I don't see anything too dangerous in here, but it's still messy. All right, here's the bedroom. One of the bedrooms. I don't know what that is. But here is a mattress on the floor. We saw that they had a headboard in one of the other rooms, so aren't they using that? And that looks like urine. But I don't know what this is. That's the door maybe to a closet. Okay, we're back to deplorable. This is deplorable. It is not safe for a child to be here. If this is a room that was the only room in the house that looked like this, and they kept it shut, and there's just a bunch of junk, and they just needed to go through it, fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm assuming this is a room that they probably have used on a regular. They got toys in here. Another couch or chair. Some kind of table over here. Wish we could see further, but deplorable. And just to put the faces with this case. AJ's father. She looks like a different person compared to the video of her with the press and her lawyer. Wow, what a difference. Rest in peace, you cute little boy. Had to go through so much. And be killed by the people that he trusted the most. What has this world come to? There were 2 vehicles parked in the driveway. where a child could hide or have entered to avoid the outdoor elements. A police contact history check was completed using the Crystal Lake Police database, and numerous prior police contacts were located for 94th Doyle Avenue, and the child's parents, Andrew Freund and Joanne Cunningham. A majority of those police contacts were well-being checks and domestic violence related. Andrew Freund and Joanne Cunningham are also known as self-admitted prior narcotic abusers. I'm assuming they still. Several agencies responded to the address with tracking and searching canine units to assist in locating the child. And after a search, they advised officers on the scene their canines did not locate a scent leading outside the house. The canine handlers told officers due to their dog's reactions, they did not believe the child walked away from the home. Furthermore, after Andrew Freund signed a consent form to search his cellular phone, a forensic analysis was conducted on Andrew Freund's cellular phone. During the forensic analysis of Andrew Freund's cellular phone, a Google search for child CPR was found on 4/15. Also found was a picture of a shopping list that was taken on 4/17. Several items of note on the shopping list were duct tape, plastic gloves, air freshener, and bleach. While Andrew Freund's cellular phone was being analyzed, a search warrant signed by Judge Meyer was being executed at 94 Doyle in an effort to locate Andrew T. Freund. During the search, a pair of red and black men's 11 Nike brand gym shoes with dripping wet mud on the bottom were seized. The shoes were later sent to Quantico, Virginia, FBI headquarters for the mud to be examined. During the execution of the search warrant, officers on scene located a white garbage bag in the dining room along the west wall. Officers located inside the garbage bag white laundry that was wet and smelled heavily of bleach. Officers also located a large empty bleach bottle in the kitchen garbage can. The officers located 3 other empty bleach bottles in a brown garbage with a green lid on the south side of the garage. So it's probably one of those garbage cans that we just saw. As officers continued to search 94 Doyle, they located a Lenovo laptop computer and roll of duct tape in the closet of the bedroom on the second floor on the southeast side of the house. Other agents assisting with the investigation downloaded and examined the contents of Drew's iPhone pursuant to written consent and a search warrant, and found an image of a handwritten shopping list which included bleach, gloves, duct tape, and among other items. The timestamp of the image of the shopping list was dated. The investigators who had examined Drew's phone had also found a search history from Monday, 4/15, approximately 3:17 a.m., which there were several searches conducted in quick succession. There were several consecutive searches for child CPR and ultimately for child CPR. This one said child COR. I thought it meant to be a P, but during the day of 4/18, I interviewed Andrew Drew Freund, the father of the missing child, as a victim and witness over the course of several hours. Detective Ethel was on a fact-finding mission and asked questions to try to piece together a timeline of both Drew's recent activities and his sons and other family members. During that prolonged conversation, Drew explained on the evening of 4/17, he returned home from work at approximately 7:20 p.m. and hung out with both his sons. He said Joanne directed him to go to Jewel to purchase some household items at approximately 9 p.m. Drew described those household items, which differed from the list ultimately found later. Drew said he returned home around 9:30. Drew said he and Joanne then put AJ to bed after brushing teeth, washing hands, and saying prayers. Why they gotta bring Jesus into it, right? Drew then told me he went to a doctor's appointment in Elgin at 6:30 a.m. Didn't know a doctor's office was open that early. On 4/18 and when he returned home was when he noticed AJ was not in his bedroom. 2 FBI agents followed up to the doctor's office to confirm Drew had been there. Once there, they spoke with and who confirmed Drew had been there, said when she checked Drew out and asked if he would like a receipt, Drew accepted and commented to her something to the effect that the lawyer in me thinks I need a paper trail. Wow, what a comment. That this refreshed Detective Ethel's memory of an interaction he had with Drew while interviewing him during the day at 4:18. Detective asked him about his doctor's appointment being at 6:30 a.m. He confirmed that was true and then offered to show Detective a card from the office, being that Mather's clinic, and that it displayed his next coming doctor's appointment. Detective looked at the card and thanked him for showing it, but he commented the detective should make a copy of the appointment card, include it with the case. When looking back on the comment and Drew's, I don't know what that word is, with dispensing case management advice to detective, it struck detective as suspicious in light of the additional information learned. You think? On the night of 4/18, Agent Young of the FBI and Detective Ethel interviewed Drew. In the interview, Drew was confronted about a shopping list he had taken to the Jewel grocery store on 4/17 at approximately 9 p.m. When he asked in the interview to recite the items on the list and the items he actually purchased, Drew ran through the list twice and left gloves and duct tape off his recollection of the list. Through normal interviewing techniques, I was indicated to Drew that the investigation interviewing him had seen the list and wanted him to be complete and truthful in his recitation of the items. After failing to add the missing items, one of the interviewing investigators asked Drew directly if he purchased the gloves. Drew confirmed he did, and in the same statement seemed to immediately remember the purchase of tape. Drew initially said he purchased cellophane tape for the purpose of hanging pictures. Yes, after looking at your home, that is what the police are going to believe. You are buying something to hang pictures in your home. No. Drew later admitted it was duct tape he purchased, and he said he bought that instead of the cellophane tape because he considered duct tape to be more utilitarian. He said he needed duct tape to fix a broken vacuum cleaner, but then also said his children's mother, Joanne, used the duct tape to hang pictures. Drew had also said he purchased batteries on the shopping trip because a toy castle belonging to his sons required them. Agent Young and Detective Ethel asked Drew what the gloves were for. Drew said Joanne used the gloves for cleaning. Right, because there's so much cleaning going on there. He was asked if the gloves had been used since he returned home at approximately 9:30 p.m. and his son was reported missing earlier the following morning. Drew said those gloves had been used. Drew also said Joanne would use the bleach to clean the bathroom and laundry. Right. Lots of cleaning going on there. Lots of laundry being done, I'm sure. Drew said his family goes through approximately 1 gallon of bleach each week. You're right. I call bullshit. During the interview, Agent Young and Detective Ethel pointed out 1 gallon of bleach per week seemed like a lot of bleach. Yes, indeed it does. I'm not going to go there. Drew was asked about the middle of the night searches for child CPR without being fed the actual substance of the search. Drew said he wasn't up at that time searching anything and offered that Joanne may have access to his phone and that she had been thinking of searching CPR for babies in anticipation of her coming child with which she is presently pregnant. It should be noted this child is the offspring of another man. You don't say. We asked Drew why Joanne would use Drew's phone for such a search at such a time, and why she would look this topic up after already having had 2 children and successfully raising them to their present ages. Drew did not have an explanation answer to give to these questions. During the interview, Drew also explained that AJ's mother believed AJ had oppositional defiant disorder, ODD. I'm going to stop there. My daughter, is diagnosed with ODD. Okay? So if there's someone that personally knows about that situation, that would be me. Drew explained AJ thinks of himself as the leader of the home, and therefore he is defiant to his parents, lies, disobeys, and thinks things should go his way. Okay, fair enough. Sounds like my daughter. She's had intense therapy. She's on medication. I do things that are appropriate to help her with this. And we have come so far in 1 year with therapy. So that just hits home a little bit for me. But I can empathize with what he's saying there with those explanations of AJ. Drew explained that, yes, he and Joanne lock AJ in his room at night because sometimes he gets out throughout the house. Now, my daughter's never done that, nor have I ever locked her in a bedroom, ever. Something I have done when she was younger, probably 4 or 5, spanked her on her butt like maybe twice, and I felt like the worst human alive, and so I do not hit my child. However, her dad disciplines. He's different than me. He has spanked her. Moving on. Drew also said sometimes AJ has disciplinary timeouts of a whole afternoon locked in his bedroom. In case no one knows, or some don't know, timeouts are done by your age. 5-year-old, 5 minutes. 4-year-old, 4 minutes. You get the drift, right? Not a whole day. That is cruel. When asked what causes AJ to be punished in that manner, Drew answered hypothetically. I told Drew to tell us about a specific time AJ was punished by being locked in his room for 5 hours. Drew explained that a short time ago, Joanne had used AJ to wash dishes, and that AJ did not do a very good job. At least they got him to do the dishes. If he's oppositional defiant and he did dishes, to me that doesn't match. Not unless it's a fear thing of being punished, so he did them. I mean, I can't speak on that behalf, unfortunately, because I am a little bit of a pushover, and no, my daughter doesn't do chores. She should. Despite having been instructed the proper way to clean dishes, Drew said this minor infraction was compounded by the fact that AJ then lied about some aspect of his dishwashing performance. First of all, who are they to judge him on dishwashing? Have they seen their house? I mean, you only learn by example. Specifically, Drew explained that AJ stacked the dishes improperly, and when asked why he didn't stack the dishes correctly, AJ told his parents that he wasn't the one who stacked the dishes at all. Drew explained it was this overt lying that was so egregious and needed to be punished and addressed. This is why I got out of working for DFS. Ugh. During the interview, Drew was asked about his family's activities on the previous weekend. Drew explained that Joanne had stayed the night at a hotel with PJ, their youngest son, and left AJ home with Drew. Drew said on Saturday he took AJ to work with him, having caught a train around 6 a.m. Saturday morning to arrive to his work by 9 a.m. and then leaving work by 1 p.m. Drew said that there were 2 of his co-workers at his place of work, but that neither of them would have seen AJ because Drew had directed AJ to go into a different doorway from where the other co-workers would see AJ. Drew said when he left his work, he had AJ go out a different door. Okay, right there. Something's funny. Drew had to use the original door so he could clock out of work. We asked Drew how he could rely on AJ to follow Drew's instructions, considering he's ODD, remember? He said that at this superindus entrance and exit. If AJ couldn't be trusted to properly stack dishes or remain in his room, Drew said, that time he obeyed. Oh, okay, that time. Okay, whatever. 419, Drew's other younger son, PF, was interviewed at the McHenry County Courthouse, I'm assuming. During the interview, PF said he was told by his mom that AJ had fell down the stairs and had a lot of owies. And also that this occurred to AJ while PF was sleeping. This information combined with the middle of the night searches for child CPR based on this affiance training and experience is suspicious, and Drew's answers to questions surrounding these issues are indicative of deception and dishonesty. PF, also interviewer, that was instructed by his parents to not talk about AJ. 420, 2 other FBI agents interviewed Drew. During that interview, Drew was again asked about his uses of duct tape. During that interview, Drew said one could use duct tape for a lot of things. Yes, we all know. And one of the things he mentioned using it for was to duct tape a Rubbermaid type tote shut. Now, that sounds a little bit more appropriate on why they bought it. I remember during my initial search of the basement of the home that I had seen several of these types of totes, at least 2 of them being large enough to contain a 5-year-old child. However, during the search and review of the totes, neither of them contained a body and neither had duct tape on them. The forensic examiner who examined both Drew and Joanne's phones located some other interesting records. The examiner found that Drew had no record of text messages contained on his device between his device and Joanne's device. The examiner also found that Joanne had text messages contained on her device between her device and Drew's device, but only since approximately 7 a.m. on 4/17. The examiner also found that Joanne's text messages from her device between her device and a device with telephone number, it gives the phone number there, belonging to, but only since approximately 6:15 a.m. 4/17, it was learned that FW contact and call detail records were obtained for Joanne's cell phone provider, and it was found there were at least 23 contacts on 4/11, 15 contacts on 4/12, 19 on 4/13, and 31 on 4/15 that were not present on Joanne's device. This is indicative that those records and data were deleted from Joanne's device. Well, wonder whose phone number that is. 422, a search warrant was executed on a cellular phone. On that was found text messages between her device and Joanne's device that were not present on Joanne's device. Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't reread this because it says this a lot. As if they'd been deleted. And some of those text messages presented on someone's phone, but not on Joanne's. Joanne had sent messages to on 4/16 in which she complained about AJ as not getting better from what she had previously self-diagnosed or likened to oppositional defiant disorder. So he probably wasn't even diagnosed with that. She self-diagnosed him. He was probably the symptoms of having ODD. He was probably those symptoms, but probably not the diagnosis. Those symptoms can also be you're defying against being abused. This reference and idea of ODD is corroborated by statements made by the detective at the home on 4/18 and made by Drew in several interviews. 4/23, Crystal Lake detective received a response from Apple in a reference to a search warrant for data belonging to Joanne. In the deleted files section of the response was located a video dated as last modified 3/4/19. In that video, which was approximately 2 minutes long, AJ is seen laying on a bare mattress in a crib in a room I recognize to be his bedroom from 94 Doyle Avenue. In the video, a female with a voice consistent with Joanne's is holding the phone and videotaping. She is berating AJ for urinating on his bed. AJ is seen to naked except for some small bandages around both his wrists and circling his hips. AJ is seen to be holding an ice pack to his face, and when he removes it, he is seen to have deep and red bruising around his eyes and yellowish greenish bruising around his neck and upper chest. It did not appear from the video that AJ received professional medical attention. From the information known at this time, it is not believed AJ was brought to any medical treatment facility. I need a minute. Moving on. 4/24/19 at approximately 2:40 hours, which I'm assuming is morning. Yes, morning. Drew was interviewed by FBI Special Agent Landau and Detective Ethel. During this interview, Drew was shown that above video. He said the injuries seen in the video were caused by Joanne. Drew also said that he believed AJ died on Monday morning after spending a prolonged time in a cold shower. Drew explained he wanted Joanne to stop with the hard physical beatings and do some less violent form of punishment. Said cold showers was decided. Drew said on or about Sunday 4/15, AJ had lied about soiled underwear and he was subjected to a cold shower. Drew said he helped AJ out of the shower after he'd been in there for approximately 20 minutes and put AJ to bed, cold, wet, and naked. Drew said Joanne got up and checked on AJ, and that was when she got Drew, and she used Drew's phone to search for child CPR. Drew advised at some point that he believed that AJ died. Drew said the next day he took AJ's body to the basement and stored him in a tote. He said on the night of 4/17, he placed Andrew inside of several trash bags, placed the body in the trunk of his car, and drove him to an area in Woodstock. Drew said he dug a shallow grave for AJ, placed him in it, covered it with straw, and left it. Drew rode with investigators and directed them to the shallow grave in the area of, commonly known as 4119 Dean Street, Woodstock, Illinois, also known as a parcel number here. I'm not going to say it. This property is a vacant, undeveloped parcel of the west side of Dean Street. Their investigators found an area of the ground consistent with the grave Drew described. The area in which Drew described buried the victim is situated north of the driveway, commonly known as 4119 Dean Street, and adjacent to ComEd Utilities Towers, commonly known as parcel number, and also adjacent to 4101 Dean Street, also known as parcel number. That through my training and experience, I've learned that when children are reported missing and the circumstances suspicious, such as they are in this case, that the chances of locating the child alive are very low. I also know through my training experience that these perpetrators of violent crimes will continue to take steps to conceal evidence of the crime, or will visit locations associated with the crimes or the victims, or will communicate with co-conspirators for the purpose of committing further crimes or covering up previous crimes. Based on the above information, there is probable cause to believe AJ was the victim of a violent crime, and that Drew Freund and Joanne Cunningham have the knowledge of this and are likely involved in the cleanup and concealment of evidence. There is probable cause to believe there is evidence of a crime located in 4119 Dean Street, Woodstock, Illinois. Based on the foregoing facts and circumstances, your offense training and experience, it is your offense belief that evidence of the offense murder, attempted murder, concealing a death, battery, and or assault, including but not limited to a human body, blood evidence, DNA evidence, evidence of body parts, any plastic materials such as garbage bags, containers used to conceal a body or body parts, gloves, tape, soil samples, and any and all other relevant evidence pertaining to murder, attempted murder, concealing a death, battery, and assault may presently be found in the locations as described in the complaint for search warrants herein, where your affiant prays for the issuance of a search warrant consistent with the complaints for search warrants herein. So there it is. That was hard. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, share, don't. See ya.